What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Dreadnok Ripper. So Ripper looks awesome here with his picture on the side. Then the figure all posed up with his weapon there, just looking cool with nice drum set and grape soda cans there in the background. So he just looks awesome again with the weapons breakdown. We have that same picture there on the side. Of course, he's number 102 in the line. And then we have a breakdown there. So he's 6.5 inches tall. Again, all his weapons and the classifications breakdown and some of his features on the body all there for Ripper. So he looks pretty awesome here, so let me get him out of the box and we'll take a look at him together. So Ripper's real name is Harry Nod from Grim Cape, Tasmania, born with a mean streak that was expelled from nursery school for extorting candy from schoolmates as well as assault. He spent his youth moving from one correctional facility to another and was kicked out of every biker gang he ever joined for being too nasty until he found the Dreadnoks who favored his destructive talents. And overall, he looks really cool here. This is probably one of my favorite figures today just because of his look. He just looks awesome with this design. So of course, he's a part of Dreadnok, so he's going to have more of that outback biker gang feel to him. Looks pretty awesome with his face. Of course, he's got a mean looking face there. I love how his mouth is more open to one side. He has the teardrop tattoo, so he's killed somebody. Love how he's got the shaved side of the head and the mohawk that comes down with the longer hair in the back and the big bushy beard. So that all looks cool. Even has what looks to be a razor blade hanging from his ear, like has an earring, which is crazy. And then more razor blades hanging around his neck. So that looks really cool. Then he has the chest harness that of course has a sheath, grenades, and even some spikes up on his shoulders there with a little holder there on the back. Of course, bare arms, so he has this camo color tank top there with the light green and darker green colors, so that tank top going around, and the bare arms showing all his tattoos. So he's got a weird looking tattoo there that kind of goes down with a claw, and then a tattoo up on his shoulder there as well. Band around his bicep in gold with spikes, and then spike gauntlet there around his wrist, and a watch on this side or a band or whatever. And then he's got his blue jeans on, of course, with a biker chain. Always got to have that. A thigh holster down to knee pads on his knees, and the boots down there on his feet. So just overall looks pretty cool. I love the color of the green camo against the blue pants, just stands out. And then of course just overall his design, like the face especially. But moon wise, we get the head that'll twist around. It may be hard to twist all the way around because of his hair and beard, and it's kind of getting stuck there on everything. So just a little bit side to side probably, and then you can look down that far and up that far, so a little bit back and forth, so not much movement there unfortunately. Then the shoulders come up to 90 with a butterfly joint back and forth that rotates all the way around. We get a bicep twist and the double elbow joint again with the pinless joints going to be pretty stiff on him, but can bend up at least that far, so not too bad. With the wrist that then twist all the way around and have the hinge up and down. Then we go to his crunch, so we can see his ab crunch forward there and back, so pretty decent crunching. And then he also crunch at the waist and twist all the way around. Then down to the hips up to 90 and out to the side, can do the splits with those drop down hips. Thigh twist all the way around. The double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, almost kicking his butt, pretty close to it, with a shin twist at the top of the boot, and the foot will flex back and forth and twist side to side. So pretty standard movements for the G.I. Joes. At least we don't have too much stiffness in any of the joints on this figure, so he works out really good. But then we can go to his accessories. So first he has a pair of sunglasses with some nice red lenses on them, so those look cool. So we can take and slide these on his head. We'll have to see if they sit on too well, because a lot of times sunglasses don't stay on characters, so it looks like they may be a little misshapen and not want to sit on, but it looks like if we could just heat it up and get it shaped properly, they would stay on pretty good at least. So they're sitting on his face, and that looks pretty decent with them on. Usually, sometimes glasses sort of look weird on figures, like they stick off way too far, but I think on him they don't look too bad at all. But then for weapons, first we get a knife. So we have this almost like big Bowie knife that has kind of like brass knuckle designs there around the knuckles, serrated blade, and just looks pretty cool. So we can stick this into the sheath on his chest, so just take and slide this right up in there. And then we also get a pistol that has a blade on it, so he has a lot of blades going on his weapons here. So he has a blade on it on this pistol that looks pretty cool with that design. Looks a little bit awkward, but like I said, cool, because they added that little like saw blade on the end of it. So with this we can stick it into the sheath here on his thigh, and it just slides right down in there, and some of the blade sticks out of the bottom. We then get a machine gun to go along with him, which looks pretty cool. So it just looks like a machine gun, but again has a blade on the end of it, so almost like a bayonet, so he can like stab and slice people with it, but looks pretty cool. Has the scope, of course the magazine that does come out there, which you'll have to be worried about because it's a little bit too small and barely goes in there, so it could fall out easily, but a pretty cool looking gun for that. So let's try and put this in his hands, and there he is with that gun, which looks pretty cool. I just love this as I'm holding this gun with the blade on it, and then the way he looks just overall is really crazy. So he's got the gun in his hand there and looks awesome, but of course we can take this out of his hands and store it on his back. So on the back he does have this peg hanging off, which we can then take and stick this gun onto it to sort of put it right where the trigger guard is, so it can stick on his back there, so for storage. damage. And then we can give him his main weapon of the power jaws, which is like a jaws of life sort of thing, which looks pretty cool. Of course, a big engine on it, almost like a chainsaw, but has the grip here and the handle. And then we have the claws that do open and shut, so that is pretty cool. So you can rip doors open or crunch on people, which would be crazy. So let's put this into his hands. So there's Ripper with the power jaws in his hand, and that just looks crazy cool. Such an awesome design for him. Like I said, probably going to be my favorite figure of the recent wave, and just looks so crazy, of course, with that big weapon in his hand, ready to open up some doors. Just so much coolness is exuding from this figure, so he looks awesome. And as I mentioned, he's a member of the Dreadnoks, so we'll go ahead and bring in Zartan. Of course, we'll add him in with the other figures in a later video, but there he is at least with Zartan. So we have our leader and Ripper there together to form the Dreadnoks. So overall, this Ripper figure is so cool. Like I said, just his design, his weapons, everything about him just makes him ridiculously cool. So such an awesome figure. But let me know what you thought of it down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, let me know with a thumbs up. But I want to thank y'all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.